Hola GCSE Spanish students. This video is a how-to guide for revising for your Spanish mocks and the real Spanish exams. Almost a year ago now, I made a how to get a grade 9 for Spanish video, and this video is almost an update of that one, but in much more detail. I am going to be splitting this video in 4, the same way you should split your Spanish revision. There are 4 different papers for 4 different skills. So one by one, I will be discussing how to revise for that paper. At the end of the video, I will be answering a common question: what tenses do I need to know? Vale, vamos. Okay, you would think I would first be talking about the listening paper, as it's called paper 1, but I'm going to start off with speaking. Paper 2, the speaking paper, is actually the first exam you will sit, because it happens in late April or early May. Although the paper is slightly different for both higher and foundation tier, and it differs slightly based on the exam board, that doesn't matter as the revision methods are the same. So for speaking, one important thing is to familiarize yourself with the themes. Each part of the speaking exam, the role play, the photo card, and the general conversation will be based on certain themes. For AQA, there are 3 themes, and for Edexcel, there are 5. In AQA, for example, your theme for the photo card cannot be the same as the themes for your general conversation. Now that you understand the themes, let's break down the exam itself. There is a role play, which is generally the easiest part. You need to be able to construct basic sentences. For example, I want a blue t-shirt please. Quiero una camiseta azul por favor. The roleplay is very much basic conversational Spanish. You should be practicing roleplays, so go to your exam board website and find some old roleplays to practice. It should take you a couple of minutes per roleplay. I will also link in the description this video where you can pick up some really nice short phrases and sentence structures to use in your roleplays. Again, the roleplay is meant to be super simple, so don't overcomplicate it. And you don't need to be spending a lot of time revising for it. Just don't go into the exam completely blind. Next is the photo card, which is a bit more complex. Again, practice photo cards to revise. And to prepare yourself for the unprepared questions, find a classmate and speak to each other in Spanish, asking topic-related questions that could be in the photo card. Your school may also have a Spanish assistant, so if you get the opportunity to, practice speaking with them. Lastly, you have the general conversation. For this, your teacher will give you a long list of questions that you should write detailed answers to. Then memorize them really well because those will be the exact questions your teacher will ask you in the real exam. I have a video that I made last year all about the speaking exam, so go check that out afterwards. In my real speaking exam, I got 59 out of 60, and I did AQA by the way. The first written exams for Spanish are the listening and reading papers, which you will sit on the same day. First, let's talk about listening. Listening is probably the hardest Spanish paper because it requires so much focus to understand the audio. The audio in the exams is played twice, but even that can still not be enough to understand what is being said. But how can you get better at listening? Well, obviously, practice listening to a wide range of Spanish speakers, and eventually you'll get the hang of it. I have another video on my channel that has loads of podcasts and YouTube channels that are perfect for this. However, it's all well and good if you can hear what is being said, but you have to also understand it. This is where learning vocabulary comes in. Very simply, for each exam board there is a massive list of vocabulary that you need to learn the best you can. You can use Quizlet or Anki or anything else, but you really have to learn the vocabulary as much as possible. So, to recap, to get better at listening, practice listening, learn vocabulary, and do past papers closer to the exam. I'd recommend doing past papers of other exam boards too. AQA and Edexcel are super similar, so if you've seen all of the AQA questions, try some Edexcel ones. Paper 3 is reading. This is probably the easiest paper. Similar to listening, you really need to practice reading Spanish texts. These can be news articles or short stories, etc. I will link in the description some really good reading resources. And the more vocabulary you know, the more words you will be able to understand in the exam. There is also a translation question at the end of the reading paper. Make sure you practice these. I have a really old video on my channel where I go through an example reading translation question. I'm also going to talk about buying textbooks. So most people would consider buying the CGP workbooks and revision guides because CGP does make good revision books. I personally never used any CGP books for Spanish, but I did use this Viva grammar and translation book. Pearson Revise also makes Spanish revision books. Generally speaking, I don't think you need these books. There are plenty of ways to practice Spanish skills using the past papers online, but if you think they will help you stay on track, then by all means buy the books. Lastly, let's talk about writing. I have a walkthrough video on this paper for both higher tier and foundation tier already on my channel. But in terms of revising, it's a lot of answering writing questions yourself and getting them marked or checked by a teacher. I'm happy to check through answers if you leave them in the comments below. And if you're aiming for top marks, you need to use phrases and idioms that will wow the examiners. I have 3 videos on phrases and idioms that you should learn, which I will link in the description. You don't need to learn all of them, just a couple that you can use in the exams. Before you go off and start revising, one common question I get from GCSE students is what tenses do I need to know? I have pasted the criteria for both foundation and higher tier for AQA, and it's very similar for Edexcel. I've annotated around the endings for each tense, so pause the video to have a read. The capital R in the brackets means irregular verbs only. If you are unsure about a particular tense, search up how to form it either on YouTube or just on Google. And if you still have questions, leave a comment below. Learning these tenses will take time, as you have to memorize the endings and then practice conjugating. That is all I've got for this video. I've got loads of other GCSE Spanish videos coming soon, so subscribe to see those. You can always unsubscribe after your exams. And I do Spanish tutoring, so if you want either just a one-off lesson to see how you're doing, or weekly lessons to get a higher grade, head to my website. Good luck if you have mock exams approaching. Adios!